Hello, and welcome to another episode of Transcending Veils. This is going to be a very special episode. Let me introduce our cast here. I am D.E. Riley, and this is my lovely and talented co host,
Audra Moon.
Audra. This is going to be a special one tonight. It is a dual live event. We're going live on TikTok to answer
Awesome.
questions and have comments and a little interaction with our listeners. Um, are you as nervous as I am?
I'm so excited to have, our listeners be engaged and actually be a part of the discussion and answering questions and, even covering topics or stories that we may have that they request. It's really going to be awesome.
I hope so. I hope it turns out great. And you know, it's. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm burning sage over here. I'm just trying to get all the bad mojo out of here so we don't run into any problems like we did in the past. I just really don't want to run into that mess, you know?
No, but I mean, just like in, perfect transcending veils fashion, there is always our little gremlin who interferes some way, somehow. And I
Right.
still think we need to have somebody name our gremlin. That's got to be a thing.
I think that's a brilliant idea. We have to have a name for this little entity that seems to be injecting itself into all of our podcasts. So we'll talk about that a little later once we get on TikTok and we start getting people to filter in here. We'll see, get their input, and I don't know, maybe work up some kind of contest or something.
That
Um,
would be cool.
I don't know what the hell we could give away. We have nothing, you know. I've got a mixer board that doesn't work. I can send them from the show,
You
but
know, we could. So, um, funny enough, I have my plethora of spirited dolls. Um, Unfortunately, I will be rehoming a few of them just due to the, congestion of energy within my household. Um, so, I mean, that very well could be the
mm,
prize, one of those
wow,
haunted dolls.
that would be a huge prize. Huge prize. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind getting in on that, but obviously I can't get into the contest. Hey, I came across something earlier, and crap, now I can't remember her name. Uh, I will have to go and look it up. This creator on TikTok, you have got to watch these videos that she creates because it it is really really weird. I mean, the lady is obviously Russian, I guess, and from what I could tell on the text, but she is supposed to be a reptilian here on Earth.
Interesting.
Now, absolutely stunningly gorgeous young lady, but her eyes blink the wrong way.
Hmm.
She has two sets of eyelids, and you'll see her blink her eyes normally, and then right after or just before either one, there'll be a second set of eyelids come in from the side and blink. I
Wow.
have looked at these things over and over and over and over again. And if this is a hoax, damn, they've done a good job because I can't see it. It is just so unnerving. I'll send you the link. I can't remember her name. I wish I could. Maybe I can pull it up. I've got several different phones going on here. Um, but
That's incredible.
yeah, I mean, it is so spooky looking. Um, Stop it. I'm already logged in. But yeah, it is really, really, really crazy. Oh, now it's going to make me go through all this bullshit.
Of
Okay,
course.
I'll have to. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you later because right
Oh my
now I
gosh,
just.
yeah, definitely send it to me
Yeah,
because
it is. It
that's
is.
interesting.
It's the freakiest thing I've seen in a long time. And I mean, most of her stuff is not um, her narrating it. She's just standing there kind of off to the side, and she's got like another video put into the video that she's making, inlaid on that video, and it's the other videos are stuff I've seen out on the internet quite often, that question terrestrial beings and stuff like that. But this lady is like, I just cannot figure it out. And it's like she'll bend her neck in certain ways, and you'll see almost like gills or scales on the side of her neck underneath her skin, that'll show for just a second and then go away. I mean, it is
Wow.
really crazy. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, you're more than welcome to send the link to Audra also. But yeah, it is really, really, really freaky.
I've heard so much about the reptilian theory. Um, and I mean, I've seen multiple videos on it. Um, whether it be on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or wherever. And it's mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think now is in regards to what we're doing tonight. I think now is a really, really good time to open it up to other people because we seem to be in a paranormal surge right now for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the planets were aligned or because of all the super moons we've been having or the CERN collider or whatever. But it
Yeah.
seems like there is like all of a sudden this huge mass of paranormal activity everywhere in every part of society,
Oh
and
yeah.
it is literally worldwide, and this is something that people are looking up. They're not looking down anymore. They're not looking down at their phones. They're starting to look up again, and they're seeing things that have always been there. They've just been looking in the wrong direction. And hopefully we can touch on a little bit of that tonight because there's a huge, huge surge in UFO sightings. All over the world, and now the government's come out and said, yeah, they're real. We don't know what they are, but they are real. Well, great.
Yep.
I have a feeling we're getting about 30% of their story. Because I
Yeah.
don't I,
I
I don't
have
trust them.
seen as far as UFOs go, I have seen a lot where um UFOs are they're saying that they're using cloud coverage. They're
Hmm.
making themselves basically look like just darker clouds in the sky. And I've seen photos that, you know, they could be right, they could be wrong, you know what I mean? Um,
Right.
but that's an interesting theory as well. So, them using cloud coverage to camouflage themselves. And
Hmm.
that's what people are finding, especially with these 4K cameras and all this editing that they can do now with being able to um, enhance photos and see these things.
Yeah, it's just, man, I don't know. I don't know what is causing all this right now, but it's fascinating. It's a great time to be alive and be into this stuff. It really is because
Absolutely,
there's
it
just
is.
a ton of it. And then with social media and communication like it is, the stuff gets shared, and if it can be debunked, it's going to be debunked within a matter of literally minutes because
Yes.
it is being shared so much. And there's just not a lot of stuff coming forward that's saying this is fake. I mean, you still have that out there. Don't get me wrong. I run into that all the time, and especially um, paranormal videos uh, concerning ghosts or demonic entities or something like that. So much of that stuff is fake. And
Oh, of course.
there's people that go through a great deal to make this crap. And I wish they would just stop because it's like, come on, I love the real stuff, and you can tell real quick, if this is something you want to pay attention to or something you can just cruise by.
Yep.
Um, but it's just it's so easy to just fake stuff. When it comes to the ghosts and things that are yeah, quote unquote invisible that you can't see, the unknown. That it's hard to tell what is real and what isn't real, and there's so many people that can be fooled very, very easily by this stuff. I can be fooled with a lot of it. I have to really, really look at some of it to be able to spot what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun talking to people out there. I hope we get a nice turnout. I'm thinking we will. I have had a lot of people respond very positively to it.
So have I. I have people who are tagging me and things saying they're counting down the minutes, so that's exciting. I'm glad people are excited about this.
Right. And the I guess according to TikTok, we can go on like 10 minutes prior to the start of the event. Is that correct? Do you remember
Uh
seeing any of that?
no, I didn't see any of that.
Okay. I
But
don't
I mean,
see
I
I
believe
don't
you.
see how going on a couple of minutes early, just because one of us is going to have to go on first, and the other one's going to have to, you know, tag in.
Join. Mm.
So that's that we'll have to get all that worked out here in the next couple of minutes. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got a couple moderators. They're going to watch our backs, so we won't have to deal with any nutcases out there. If you guys are wondering what's going on, if you just now tuned in to Transcending Veils, we're going live tonight on TikTok. So we're not only going to be recording the show, but we are going to be on TikTok live, um, and hopefully this will be the first of a few of these that we do, interacting with our listeners and our audience and people who are just into the paranormal. Period. And my screen just went black. There it is.
See,
That
there it
scared
is.
me for a second. Yeah,
It's the gremlin.
already. I mean, it just went pop and just black. And I lost my keyboard already once tonight. It went black, and I had to plug it back in. So I'm
Oh my
hoping
goodness.
I'm hoping that's all it is. So this, this thing is
And
killing me.
so
I
it
know.
begins.
Uh-huh. The upside is the electronic noise that was in the background on your end is gone. You are crystal
Sweet.
clear right now. So that's
That's what I
awesome.
like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I don't know what could have been causing that. And unfortunately through the last episode it hung with us the whole thing, and then ended right when we were getting off the air. It stopped. But hopefully we don't run into that again. It sounds very, very nice on this end. So you got all dolled up for the occasion, huh?
I started to. Okay. Here's the thing. I started to, but it is hot and nasty and gross
Yeah.
out today. So we did the bare minimum. I'm sorry, folks, but we did the bare minimum today. But that's what filters are for. So you
There
know.
you go. Yeah, but I don't know if you apply it to yours, is it going to apply to mine? Because if you use one of those makeup filters, I'm going to look goofy as shit over here.
No, it won't apply to yours. Don't you worry.
Oh, good, good, good. I mean, I could use filters, but not in that sense. Yeah, I had put on one of my fancier shirts, and it was the same way. I got in here, got the door closed, got to close the windows, keep the noise out. It's like, oh, fuck, dying in here, you know.
It is
So,
hot. Yep.
yeah,
I am
back to the.
currently barricaded in my uh boudoir, I guess I should say. You know, my
Right.
powder room. I shouldn't say boudoir. I should say powder room. I'm currently barricaded in my powder room because that is the quietest place with,
All right. I just
you
got a
know,
notice popped
no
up.
noise.
I just got a notice that popped up. It says from TikTok. It says it is almost time for our event, and to go ahead and get started on it.
All
So
right.
I'm going to hit start event, and bang,
Okay.
and go live, and we're off. Here we go. It's
Here
loading,
we
loading,
go.
loading.
Hold on, I'm
Come
right
on.
there. I'm coming. I'm
All
coming.
right, there I am. Three, two, one, bang, and we are live. Come on in, Audra. Anytime
Okay.
you're ready.
Oh, hold on.
People are getting notified. We've already got three people piled in here already.
We're coming. I'm coming.
Lori is in.
What's happening?
Rebecca is.
Oh, my gremlin. The gremlin. Hold on.
Oh no, our gremlins are back at it again. Okay, guys. Hey, welcome TikTok. Welcome Transcending Veils podcast. We are doing a dual live tonight. We've got people piling in the room right now. I am talking. My partner Audra Moon is on the other end of these wires you see sticking out of my head right now, and we are trying to get her on. Bang! Here she
Here
comes.
I
Are
come.
we ready?
Here I am.
There you are.
I am here.
All right, now. Okay, we got a lot of
I
funny
know.
sound stuff
How do
going
we
on
fix
here.
that?
So that
What if I? What if we mute the computer?
turn the sound is the sound up on your phone? Are you uh are you on TikTok on your phone
Yeah.
or on your PC?
On my phone.
Okay, is the sound turned down on your phone?
All the way down. How's that?
Yeah, give it a try. See what happens. Okay, better. Perfect.
Better.
Now say something. Better. Yes, we're hearing you. Yeah, you got a little bit of an echo, but I think you'll be
That
all
was
right.
one thing I was worried about.
Yeah, I think. There we go. Okay, say it again. Say something. Hello.
Are we good? We got it? No? Almost?
Okay. All right. You're coming through great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lose these because I'm getting sound through here and through there, and it's screwing me all up. So now talk to me.
Better.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Better.
Better. Okay. Here we are. Transcending Veils live on TikTok. Audra Moon right there. The beautiful and talented. And then there's me. This guy, D.E. Riley. So glad you guys can make it. We are excited about this. We now want to turn it over to you. It's your show now. You have any questions, comments, anything that we can help you with? Please feel, yeah, it's lagging. Mother Trucker says it's lagging. Am I lagging or is she lagging? Which one? Riley from Southeast Ohio.
Hi, Ricky.
Welcome aboard.
We got so many people in here already. It's great.
Almost 200 people in here, and we are not even 2 minutes into the show. This is awesome. Okay, just her. And it might be because of the dual thing going on. I don't know. Bear with us. We're this first time we've done this, and we're trying to get this stuff worked out. So we appreciate you guys' patience and hanging in there.
I got Joan Jett and Willie Nelson. That's awesome.
I
like it.
This is it's really kind of really pretty cool. What kind of show is this for? Wendy asks. Wendy, we are a paranormal podcast. This is the first time we've been on TikTok. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. We discuss all things paranormal, the occult, mass murders, all that good stuff that everybody loves and nobody likes to talk about except us.
Mm-hmm.
We That's what we do. So welcome aboard. Enjoy the show. The topic for the show, you pick it. You ask the questions. We discuss the paranormal, like I said. So if you have questions, if you have comments that you would like to send our way, please do. It's an open forum. So we will talk about it. We'll talk about ghosts. We'll talk about demonic entities. We'll talk about Satanism. We'll talk about mass murders. We will talk about road construction if you want. It's pretty much open.
Road construction.
But that's what we're here for. Audra and I have both had a lot of past experiences with the paranormal, um, with dealings, not only with the light side but the dark side, and our opinions somewhat differ on how things happen and how we look at the paranormal. But that's the good thing. We've got the yin and the yang here, bouncing back and forth with one another. So you guys pull in. Hey, drinks are over that way. Snacks are over that way. You guys help yourself, have a seat, and enjoy the show.
Exactly. Do you believe in the boogeyman? Hmm. I think that depends. So in a way, I do believe that there is a boogeyman. Um, but I think it's really up to your culture and your beliefs as to what the boogeyman is to you.
True, and I mean, we discussed on one of our earlier episodes how when we were children, we saw things that we feel today were real. Even to this day, we remember them explicitly, um, but they cannot be explained. And I think that is the where the boogeyman theory comes in. Right there is what scares
Yeah.
you as a child. What's that monster under your bed or in your closet that you can't explain? That you remember, you swear was real, but your parents only
Yeah.
said, "Ah, it's just your imagination." I think that's what the boogeyman is.
Yeah. This is the boogeyman.
Okay, Wendy says when we were spreading my father's ashes in the wind, the wind was blowing, and you could see an outline of my dad from his ashes in the wind. That is phenomenal. That is that is incredible. Yeah, that's something that you will carry with you. I've never witnessed anything like that, and I would like to. That's definitely special. I think it was just his way of letting you know he's okay, and don't worry about him. He'll be just fine, you know.
I'm going to chime in on that comment just from experience. So, you were clearly given a sign from your father spreading his ashes. Now, a lot of people argue with me, people who work in the field of, sorry, I have a cat that's messing things up on me. Um, Now, when it comes down to energy, um, I've had other spirit workers talk about how it takes years and years and years for spirits to conjure up enough energy to manifest a sign to you. I have found in my experiences with death and with spirits that they are more prone to activity closer to when they've passed versus a long stretch of years after they pass. Because you got to think about it. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. And if you have, your soul would technically be considered a form of celestial energy. Now, with that being said, your soul has been trapped in this, for lack of better words, meat suit So when your father passed, all of that energy just exploded. Think about shaking a soda can and it explodes, or shaking a soda bottle, so that energy is just, it's at its peak at that point. So I believe that at that point, your father had enough energy to conjure up a sign or manifest a sign for you to let you know he's there. He's going to be there. He'll always be there. Um, but he's with you.
Very eloquently put. I like that. I like that explanation. Very nice. And I mean, it's like after my mom passed away. She died a number of years ago. I distinctly remember I was doing laundry, and I was at their house, and I was doing laundry, and it felt very cool for a second, and then I felt like I was being in a warm hug, like her arms just came around me and hugged me very, very tightly, and I lost it. I'll be quite honest with you. I just lost it at that point. But that was, I think, just that's their way of saying, "Hey, we're all right. You need to be okay now. We're just fine." So
I actually have, I know it's open forum, but here I am telling my stories. I actually have a perfect example of that and like what you're talking about, and it's heartbreaking. Don't get me wrong, like it's heartbreaking. Um, but long story short, back when I was 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, I had a high school boyfriend, dated him for 3 years, puppy love, thought I was going to be with him forever, like, you know, whatever. Um, so obviously we broke up when I was like 17 or 18, whatever. And he had moved off to a completely different state, but tried to keep in contact with me, and I just wasn't having it. And by the time I had been married and had kids, and he would message me and say, I just want to let you know I still love you and I'm thinking of you. And the last thing I ever said or did to him was I blocked him after telling him to stop talking to me and telling me this stuff. Uh, Amazingly, I was scrolling through the For You page on TikTok and I came across a video, and it was a tribute video. And it was my ex boyfriend. Um, he had passed away that day. Um, and out of the millions of people on TikTok, this was on someone's profile or account that I didn't even know, never met. Um, had never met this woman in my life, and so I messaged her, and she told me what happened. Unfortunately, he died from a drug overdose, and he had been sober for months, and he just happened to use, and he passed from a drug overdose. Now, the interesting thing was everyone was asking me if I was going to go to the funeral, which was 3 states away, and I was like, no, I'm not going to the funeral. And one thing, when we were, one of the symbols of our relationship, one thing that we've always associated with our relationship was monarch butterflies. And monarch butterflies, there's the season for monarch butterflies is August through September, and he had passed in June. And I opened the tailgate of my truck, and there a giant monarch butterfly, huge, flew out of my truck, and I my windows were up, everything. Flew around me twice and then flew away. And I was like, okay. Okay. And so obviously I'm being me. I took it as a sign. My car that same day, my car has sensors in the seats, lets you know if someone's in the passenger seat or in the driver's seat. I'm driving alone. I'm going to pick up my daughter. I have my hand on uh, I have my hand on my shifter, and I'm changing the station, the radio station. Every radio station that played was a song that had to do with him and I. Um, and then I felt something grab my hand, and there was nothing there. Nothing there. Something grabbed my hand, and all of a sudden my passenger seat light went on saying there was a passenger in there. And that's when I decided I was going to the funeral. Drove 3 states to go to the funeral. Um, and, said my goodbyes and stuff. But like, yeah, he like there's out of millions of people on TikTok, that monarch butterfly, and then my electrical system in my car messing up, and the radio stations. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But I took it as a sign. I went and said goodbye. You know.
yeah. Now Tara chimed in. I tried to write you a note. I think I wrote it backwards, but she said that her father and her had been estranged for many years, and he passed away on the 10th. She didn't find out till the 17th, but she had a feeling a month before that he was going to pass. This kind of premonition, I think that a lot of people get. Um, I know my going back to my mother, she always had what she called her feelings. Now we're from the South, so we didn't use G's in ing. We just cut it off at end. So she had feelings, and she could tell when something was wrong with somebody who lived 1,000 miles away in the family. I mean, she just knew it. And that there is a connection there, and some people are more sensitive than others to that connection. My mother was. Obviously, you were with your dad. You were close to him, whether you were close to him or not. If you understand my meaning, there was a spiritual connection there between the two of you that let you know that something was going to happen to him. It's not something that happens to everybody. I can't do it. I wish I could. I'm a complete idiot to stuff like that. I mean, somebody can in my family can have something bad and I have no clue it happened to them. I'm just, I'm totally dumb like that. But my mother could tell, you know, sometimes weeks before something bad would happen. And there was even times that she could not pinpoint it to somebody specific, but she would just say, I've got a feeling something bad is going to happen, to somebody. I just got a feeling, so be careful. She would always say, be careful because I don't know who this is. But, I think yeah, that's a very real thing. And it's one of those things that really cannot, I don't know enough about that connection to explain it any further than that, other than to say, she said, Tara says, yeah, I say that all the time. I've got this feeling, and yeah, there's people are sensitive to premonition like that, and I am not one of them. I I don't know if it would be a curse or a blessing, to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure I would want to be. Um, have you ever had run into anything like that, other than what you were just talking about, to where you knew?
Well, so one thing that I have found is death, unlike Final Destination, but kind of like Final Destination, if you've ever seen those movies, is when death is near, there's always signs. It's just up to the person on whether they want to see them or not. Um, that's I'm gonna jinx myself here, but like, so for instance, for me, um, I am a very aggressive driver, very very aggressive. Um, I grew up in Rhode Island, right outside of Boston, and like 5 minutes from Massachusetts. So it's like we all drive like assholes. Um, I have been slowing my speed and like really paying attention to how I drive. I'm a very good driver, but just aggressive. Um, because I have seen so many things around me that insinuate car accidents, or like I'll be watching something or I'll happen to be just looking up at the TV, car accident, car accident. So, I've been really taking caution with, with my driving, but this is what I mean is, there are signs, and when you deal with death and the dead and spirits and all of that stuff, you kind of learn how to pick up on all that. I am the son of the devil for real. Uh-huh. When I was a when I was a teenager, when I was a teenager, it was me and my mom and my cousins were all in my mom's room when we found that someone died in the house. All of a sudden that night, our cupboards opened, my oven pans. I had so many people die went flying in the kitchen. We freaked. See, but they like it when you're scared. They do. See, and my sister can attest to this. She has seen me do it. When things start going crazy and my little house demon starts acting up, usually I yell at him to pick up a broom or wash his dish rather than throwing shit around my house. Um, so I mean, the they feed on that. They feed on fear, um, and of course, like you're gonna get startled, and the unexplained usually makes people. When you can't explain it, you panic. So
And I mean, that goes back if you tune into episode one of Transcending Veils, um, the show is basically just Audra and I introducing ourselves and talking about our past experiences of what got us here today. And one of those things that I talked about was the haunted house that I lived in and how I had witnessed a flower pot sitting on a dining room table fly off that dining room table 30 feet down the kitchen and land in the laundry room. 30 feet. Now, that's not the AC kicking on. That is something is throwing this thing through the air. Did it scare me? No, I really, by that time, I was so used to the idea that I was living in a haunted house that it didn't really scare me. Um, as, 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 as much as it kind of infuriated me, and I wanted to know why. Why were you throwing this? There was no reason to act like that, but that's why I always run towards the paranormal now instead of away from it. It doesn't really scare me. It fascinates me. I want to know why. I want to know how. And it's that's one of the things how we got here. And I think that's their way of getting attention. I mean, if they just did little things, you wouldn't notice that they were there. So they've got to do these big things that scare the hell out of you. But to get the attention that they are there. They're not there so much to do you harm. A lot of times they're just wanting to know that you're sharing your space. Um, Now, Evelyn wrote here, she said her son was 23 when he passed from cancer. And when she went into the room, she felt him. And I know, I just discussed that, with my mother, that you get that and that residual energy of that person hanging around. And they're going to try to let you know that they're okay. Now, this isn't, don't get me wrong, we talk about all things paranormal. This isn't a show with just dealing with death. We don't want to do that. As I was mentioning to
even though death is always fun.
it, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basis of all of this
I'm
stuff.
sorry.
But,
I keep trying
most of it anyway. But as I've mentioned to Audra before we came on to TikTok, right now we're in this huge upheaval of paranormal activity. Um, from ghosts in the afterlife all the way through UFOs. Things are happening all over the earth right now that are getting people's attention, and they're starting to realize that, man, this stuff is real. I'm counting the minutes before somebody comes on and goes, "Hey, look, I caught Bigfoot," and has one. It's gonna happen, any day now, because there all of
You're
this,
like
all of,
Aaron.
yeah, all of the things that were folklore and mysterious and are coming to light. They're turning out to be reality, and people are realizing that there is more to this world than just what this thing is right in front of you. There's things we can't see and we don't understand. Um, Whether it's spiritual of nature or paranormal of nature or multidimensional, the universe is just crazy right now, and
Yep.
this is a great time to be alive if you're interested in that stuff. This is it's amazing out there right now. So come on in, guys. Say hi.
Have you found your doll? What doll?
You said you had lost one
Which
of your
one?
dolls.
I did. I lost Isabel and I can't find her. I have no idea where she went. I didn't get rid of her. Um the only places my kids don't go in my office. Um but if they had, the only places that this doll could possibly be, she's not. I have no idea where she is.
Just got up and walked off.
She did, and she was like the best. She was my best. Like, okay, so I'm attached to my cat being a jerk. Um, Stop it. Um, I'm attached to my a gremlin is slipping me a note under the door.
Uh oh. Will you fix me a turkey sandwich?
Ghost tried to scare me. Ghost tried to scare me. Fan mail. Um, so I'm attached to my malevolent entities, not my, you know, positive entities. But she was the one positive child spirit that I had, and she was the sweetest. She really was. She was a good communicator. Um, she was great. I have no idea where she is though, so clearly she didn't like it here. Honestly, to be fair, she was my first one, and she probably didn't like the influx of negative entities coming into the house.
Hmm. Getting weird stuff going on here. If you guys, yeah, if you guys don't know, um, we call ourselves the most cursed podcast on the internet because we have a gremlin or um, an entity or something that keeps messing with every broadcast that we have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and something will always go wrong. So excuse me if I seem on edge, and you see me perk up and start looking at monitors and stuff, but something weird was just happening up here, and I don't know what it was. Um, but one thing, you're looking. Uh, Coleslaw, let me tell you what, man, it's not scary. It depends on how you look at it. You can be startled by a lot of things that happen out there, but if you learn to accept them and you learn to draw them in as they are real, and this is how the universe is, and there are things out there we can't explain, that fear will turn into curiosity, just like it did with myself and Audra, and you will find yourself going down rabbit holes you never even knew existed. So don't
Exactly.
don't be afraid of the unknown. It's just the unknown, you know.
But don't play with them either.
No, no,
Know what you're
no,
doing
no.
first.
Do your homework. You know, definitely do your homework because you can get yourself into messes that you know you don't want to be in. So do your homework and if you're too lazy to do that, please consult someone. If you're talking about dark matters, this lady right over here, contact her. She will be happy to discuss it with you. Um, it's
Absolutely.
you know there's different sides and different levels. Everything is balanced going through this universe. Um, so you have to be careful not to tip that that scale too much one way or the other because then you start getting into things that can cause you problems later on for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, just go at it with an open mind, but also watch your step. Be very careful because it can, as Wendy puts it, it's amazing and it's beautiful, and you are right, it is amazing and beautiful, but it can also be extremely scary and terrifying if you go in the wrong direction with it. And it's very easy
Hurt
to do.
yourself
Yeah, you can hurt yourself very badly.
serious way.
So definitely listen to professionals, and I am not a professional. I do not claim to be a professional, and I do not claim to know all the answers. But I have a lot of questions, and that's why I'm here, because I want to talk
Mhm.
to you guys. I want to talk to her, people like you that have had experiences and also have a lot of questions. Maybe we can get together and find some answers for this stuff. I can only tell you the experiences that I've had, and my level of experience is based off solely um, my personal experiences. Um, so it's not something that I went out looking for and practiced and dove into and it's just I just stumbled into it and that's what got me here. And look at that. Boy, if that's not witchy, I don't know what is. A black cat sitting on your shoulder.
This is my protector, my big protector. She's always on my shoulder.
A pretty kitty.
She is a pretty kitty. Say hi. This is Sable. Sable Frankie Marie. Yeah, no, she'll just hang out here and, give me back problems. Because that's what she does. You should see it. If I'm sitting here and doing my makeup, I'm like, and she's up there, and it's the worst thing in the world. So,
All
At
right,
least
guys.
she did it nice this time. Usually she climbs up the back.
If you guys have any other questions, comments, please feel free either ask Audra or ask myself, and we will be glad to discuss them. We're going to keep this thing going for however, we'll just go till we run out of things to talk about. Um, one
Yep.
thing, one thing I did want to touch on that we've never touched on our podcast before, um, but something that is becoming extremely um, prevalent today. And ooh, that's a good question. Tara says, "Do demons attach themselves to you?"
yes, yes, 100% yes. They will attach themselves. Um, Usually, they will attach themselves for when you're messing with um, when you're messing with something you shouldn't be, like we were talking about. Do your homework. There is also such a thing as generational contracts or curses, however you want to look at them, um, where someone along the line of your history, in your lineage, ancestry, somewhere was messing with things that they shouldn't have. And when they were messing with things that they shouldn't have, they inadvertently caused a generational attachment. Um, So, and that generational curses or attachments, um, that it's not so easily removed. I myself have a generational contract on me. The only difference is I work with him very closely. Um, and I mean, he has been with me since as far as I can remember. My earliest memory was probably 6 years old.
Tara goes
Um,
on to say, "Oh my God, I felt cursed for a long time. How do you get rid of them?"
so there is a lot of shadow work that you need to do. You need to look into. My black cat's looking at the ceiling, crying. There's nothing up there. He knows I'm talking about him, so he's here. Um, so there's a lot of shadow work that you have to do. Shadow work is essentially looking at all of the negative shit in your life and in your within your family, bad habits, stuff like that. That's where you start. You start within yourself, and then you have to trace back where that generational contract comes from. There's a whole bunch of other things that people do, whether it is, and it's different all across um, different branches of, the craft. It's different in, um, Satanism. It's different in paganism. It's different in, Bruja. I don't even think I'm saying that right, and I apologize if I'm butchering it. It's different in voodoo, hoodoo. It's different depending on your belief. They all have their different rituals. I have never learned how to break the generational contract, partially because I don't want to, in a way, yet, which is stupid. But I mean, I work with them, so
And that's the thing. You're more on a, or you try to put yourself on an even plane with that entity, to where you can coexist. Um, I
yes,
I've never,
we have our boundaries.
yeah, I've never really run into that. To be quite honest with you, it's fascinating to me to hear about it and how people deal with it. I've never had the, I don't know if you'd call it an opportunity, but I just never ran into anything like that. And I sometimes I wonder, if it's a lot of it has to do with your belief, your mindset, the what your mind is open to and it's not open to, um, because I look at things from I see things like the paranormal, like say haunted house, the ghosts in that haunted house, and I look at them. I try to look at them from a different perspective. People on this side are seeing ghosts. They're seeing these entities that are occupying their space, and I'm looking back here like, well, what if they're seeing you and you're occupying their space and it's flipped? How would
Yeah.
how are they going to feel? Like you're invading their space. They're not invading
Mm-hmm.
yours, you're invading theirs. And I take that and I flip it around. I don't look, because of the way, this gets so crazy, because of the way that I view time, and you and I discussed this the other day,
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
don't see time as a line like everybody puts a time on a line. I see time like on a clock. I see time as circular. It doesn't stop. It never ends. It's a circle. You don't die or you don't get born. and you live your life and die, and that's it. You've got that timeline. You're in a
Mhm.
circle, a continuous circle. So when that energy leaves you that you talked about earlier, um, that 1 ounce of energy leaves you when you leave this shell, it's got to go somewhere else. So it goes
Yeah.
somewhere else in that circle of time and exists there. And what you're seeing when you see ghosts is a thin spot in that layer of time where someone else is existing in the same spot you're existing, but you're on different dimensions. You're in different times. And there's just a thin spot in that veil that you guys see through. And that's kind of the way I look at it. It's not so much. I don't think anybody dies. I just don't. I think you leave the shell that you're in, but you go somewhere else, and you exist somewhere else. You can't destroy that energy. You can't. It's been proven. You cannot destroy energy. It's got to go somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
It's got to go somewhere. So it goes somewhere and it continues on. And it either a different life or a different time or whatever. But it continues on. It doesn't.
You
It
can
never
use
ends.
this.
Theory when it comes to reincarnation.
Well, sure, of course you can. And you can call it reincarnation. Okay, I may come back as something else later on. True, that's absolutely true. But yeah, you can apply it to that, but it's kind of different, and I don't know. It's like I said, I just don't believe we stop when this shell wears out. We just don't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is impossible. Oh man, we're getting a lot of
Totally.
likes here. I'm getting freaking hearts blowing up everywhere. Welcome TikTok. We're
Yeah.
out here. We are having fun.
My next tat is the anti-possession tattoo from Supernatural. Cute, but it's not going to protect you. I love Supernatural. I'm a diehard Supernatural fan. Um, but it's not going to protect you. Not going to protect you. I would look up the Book of Solomon and check out some sigils. Not the demonic sigils, not the sigils for the 72 demons of the Goetia, but protection symbols and all of that. Um, that supernatural tattoo will not protect you.
There you have it.
That was created for the film.
It was created in Hollywood by an art department. So just remember that. It has no real
Yeah.
connection and no real value. Don't believe what you see on these movies, guys. Come on, it's entertaining, yes, but it's not always real. So just remember that.
Yeah, that's like holy water when it comes to uh, demonic possession, entities, stuff like that. Um, it's just water to them. They don't give a shit if it's blessed. They don't care. You're better off burning sage or Palo Santo. And for fuck's sake, if you're gonna burn sage and Palo Santo, open your damn windows. Demons be running around all over your house, can't leave. Like, come on. Open your windows. Movies aren't real? No, they're not real. I'm sorry. They may be based on true stories sometimes.
That's about the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
It's true. It's very true.
And so many people, they don't even think about that. Open the door, let them out.
Yeah, like they're just gonna run around in circles screeching. Like, open the window, let them go. Rather than suffocating
You
them.
don't know what Palo Santo looks like. That's Palo Santo right there. I have it in my cauldron.
Hey, Crystal.
Come on in, guys.
Funny enough,
If you have a question or a
I
comment, please feel free
we have questions.
I'm kind of I've kind of stalled on my end, so play off your end there for a little bit. Ariana, hello.
I never thought to open my window when I sage. Oh my god. Yes! Open your window when you use sage. They're just gonna run around screeching in the house. Like just they need to get out. Just open your damn windows. Telling demon stories from home. Funny enough, my sister just joined. And my sister and I have been through a lot of paranormal activity together. A lot. Too much. So she knows.
Uh,
But don't they get in from the toilet? No. No.
where the
I
hell
mean,
did that
unless
come
you're bringing home like you're ripping a porter potty out from like a graveyard, then maybe, but I actually hadn't thought of opening the windows. That's amazing. Open your windows.
Crocodillo? Do I know how to hypnotize? No, no. That has nothing to do with the paranormal. It's that's a whole different field, and no, I don't know how to hypnotize. You know how to hypnotize, Audra?
I do not. That's one thing I don't know how to do. I can't even hypnotize myself.
Crocodillo says yes, you do. Apparently, I must have hypnotized someone. That I'm trying to hypnotize them. Really? Oh, that's interesting.
The demon in my house is called Jeff. Nice guy, actually. Mine's called TT.
Mine's called my wife. Oh, I didn't say.
I'm gonna tell her. What about portals? I'm interested in learning about it. Well, that depends on what you mean by like portals. Now, I've. Oh my god, they're all coming so fast. Okay, so I'll touch it. The one who wants to know about portals, let me know what you mean specifically as far as like portals, like to other dimensions, portals as in like the veil between the living and the dead. And what's this? Now, mythical, where do you stand on like Medusa? Got Medusa tattooed on me. Um, that's mythology, but it is a very empowering story. And then, so do you burn stuff in enclosed areas? Suffocation warnings. I've recently heard a lot about sage being a closed practice in native culture. Thoughts on that? I have two, which is news to me. Interestingly, which, I get it. Sage did originally, Native Americans did use sage and things like Palo Santo, in their in rituals, shamanism, whatever you want to call it. Um, but as far as it being a closed practice, it's it's interesting to me now that that's coming forward when sage has been used openly for years and years and years and years and years. So I'm not really. I'm gonna have to do a lot more research on that, and I would really love to talk to somebody who who it claims it is a close practice, because if it is, I would like to learn as to why and what makes it a close practice and get a better understanding of it. I guess that's why I haven't gotten rid of the demon in my boyfriend's apartment yet. Open your windows. Open your windows. A toilet is a water portal, spiritual portals. So we're talking like spirits, entities. Oh, okay. So I wish I knew more about that subject.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard anything like that. And I mean, I guess that's one way to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, well,
I,
so I
I've
dealt with
never
like
heard of the toilet being a portal into your house for demonic entities. Hey, Deanna.
I've dealt with portals in the sense of like um So if you're using, like, say, a Ouija board, you're using a Ouija board. When you open that, you go over hello and you open that, you're opening a portal, and anything can come through and leave, and it doesn't have to leave. Um, and you have to make sure you close that portal. That's why I don't recommend anybody using Ouija boards. Anybody. Um, because there's just so much etiquette that goes into using a Ouija board. Um, dumb kids such as myself using a Ouija board or making a homemade Ouija board find ourselves into a lot of trouble when we don't know etiquette and we play with things we shouldn't play with. But that's, as far as portal goes, that's to the extent of a spiritual portal. And mirrors. Mirrors are also known to be spiritual portals as well. And they don't even bring snacks when they come. Chris, I know they need to bring snacks. I was just talking about how my sister can vouch for me sitting here yelling at my house demon, telling him to like clean something. Yeah, I mean, as far as portals go, they should bring wine. I don't drink.
Yeah, that would be a good start. Bring a nice bottle of rosé. Anyway, okay, if you have questions, in-depth questions, a lot deeper than what we can get here, there is a way to contact us. Audra, can you tell these fine folks how to get a hold of us if they have further questions?
So myself, you can find myself uh, and D.E. Riley on Instagram. Just or you can find our why am I blanking? It's because I just got handed notes under my door. Um, you can find us at Transcending Veils Podcast on Instagram. You can get in touch with us on Transcending Veils Podcast on Twitter. And you can get in touch with us transcendingveils@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through Facebook, Transcending Veils. And you can contact myself and D.E. Riley directly through Instagram. My Instagram is linked right underneath, right in my link tree. I'm not sure. Do you have your Instagram linked as well?
Yeah, I do. It's also in my link tree on TikTok, so you can follow that and reach me also.
If Dracula can't see his reflection, how does he get his hair so neat? Gorilla glue. Gorilla glue.
You know, you know, this 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 is probably on the adult side one of the best questions I have ever received, and I couldn't answer it, but it's that if you're talking about vampires are a very vampires are a very sensual creature, a very sexual creature. But can a vampire get an erection because they have no blood flow?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe that's why they need to drink blood.
Wow, that's something to ponder, huh?
Because you notice they're always drinking blood before they're doing the shebang bang. Mind blown, right? Me too. Like I.
How do you get a demon to attach from someone?
Wait, what was the question?
How do you get a demon to attach from someone?
To detach?
Detach, correct.
You better find a professional. What is that? That is a fluff out of nowhere. I cannot detach a demon. Um, you would have to find somebody who
Yeah, that's some pretty serious shit right there.
specializes in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I know a lot of people. I know there's a lot of practitioners that use Dragon's Blood Sage. Uh, is a Crossroads demon real, and where would you find one? I have heard a lot of folklore about Crossroads demons. I've yet to meet one, so I can't say for sure whether they're real or not. But I mean, they are really prominent in folklore. Um, and if you want to find one, you gotta go to the Crossroads.
is is that not where Robert Johnson got his gift from? Was a crossroads demon.
Huh.
He
You
went down
Googled.
to the crossroads. Robert Johnson went down to the crossroads, found the demon, sold his soul to the devil, and became the greatest blues artist of all time. So the story goes. So he, yes, found the crossroads demon and became famous. He also died at a very early age in a very tragic death. So there's a price to be paid, you know. Uh, as we've alluded to before, do your homework. Don't go into things blind, um, because there are debts that you may never be able to pay back, and if you have to pay them back, they're always in the worst way.
And
So
and
do your homework.
don't sell your soul ever. They actually will take other forms of payment. I promise. They don't need your soul. I need to know more about skinwalkers and wendigos. Skinwalkers. I have heard so many things about skinwalkers, and the wendigo I really don't know that much about. I haven't done any well, no, that's a lie. I've done a little bit, but like it's the skinwalkers that really, really like strike a nerve with me. They're creepy. Um, and as far as I know, skinwalkers can actually take shape of your loved ones. From what Rash's mom thought she saw a skinwalker in Arizona. Yeah, I believe it. I do believe it. That was helpful. Are you being sarcastic? I was trying to be helpful. I'm sorry. What about that fiddler? It's not the fiddler. It's the devil went down to Georgia. Oh, it was a fiddle. Ha!
It was a fiddle,
Sorry.
and the devil's fiddle was a lot better than the kid's fiddle. I have to. I liked his solo a lot better.
Did Ralph Macchio go to the crossroads? Andy
Come on.
Williams. Wait, how do you actually sell your soul? You sign a contract in blood with me, and I take your soul. That's how that works. I'll feed my demons. It's cool.
The funny thing is, if you look at and this is probably the most famous story of selling your soul for personal gain. If you look at the Robert Johnson story, and I'm a guitar player, and I've heard this 1,000 times that he sold his soul to the devil to become the greatest blues artist in the world, and he met the devil at the crossroads. And the thing was, Robert Johnson, until that time, was mediocre at best. At best, at playing guitar, he was just a guy like me. He wasn't nothing special. And all of a sudden, he disappears, and he disappears for about a year, just off the radar completely. Nobody knows him, nobody's seen him, nobody's heard of him. All of a sudden, he pops back in, and he is the greatest blues guitarist ever. His fingers are now elongated on his fret hand, so he can reach strings that no one else can reach, and he can bend strings that no one else can bend, because he's now got this deformed left hand that has these monster fingers on it.
Huh.
And you look into this, and it's weird. In a year's time, no one can learn how to progress that far on a guitar and literally physically changed their body to adapt to doing what he was able to do without some type of influence, without something in there manipulating him himself. So yeah, that's if you want to study the best story of all about selling your soul to the devil, go look at the Robert Johnson story and look at it from a paranormal point of view. Look at those books, not the ones that look at it from the musical side, but ones that look at it from the spiritual side. And
Right.
it's kind of freaky. It really is.
That's awesome. Just a lot of bad raw emotion trying to dump them again. Huh. But what do I get? And what's the inflation rate of soul 1960s to a soul 2022? Well, inflation's high right now. Sorry. Mike Lee. Trying to see if I missed any. Get a receipt if you sell your soul. Can't tell if it's life or if it's just bad demonic stuff. Um, see, hard because it very well could just be life. Um, but there's always that line where it could be demonic.
I think it depends on where you put yourself, at that time. Um, if if it just happens, I mean, if it's just the day to day existence, life is hard. Let's get down to it. Life is hard. That's why they invented heaven, because they think, somebody said, okay, there's got to be someplace better than this. So when we die, we're going to make up this place that you go to that's all, rainbows and golden streets and, angels singing, blah, blah, blah. Because life is so hard. But if you go out actively searching for a reason why my life is so hard, and you start looking into different areas, and a lot of times the wrong areas, if you don't know what you're looking at and what you're doing, it can become increasingly worse from there. You can create that. Man creates his own destiny. So if you're saying there's got to be a a demon, or there's got to be Satan involved in this, or there's got to be this demonic entity, and you start digging into this stuff without really doing the research behind it, you could be inviting trouble into your life, and things could all of a sudden compound real quickly into something real bad. Um, like Audra has said many times, do your research. Don't go into stuff blind. Don't be stupid. Because stupid can get you hurt. I love driving my hot rod. I have a Camaro, and I love driving my Camaro, and I love driving it fast. Don't tell my wife, but I love driving it really, really fast on the freeway. And but I would not go out and enter it in a race and try to race other people in it, because I would get someone killed. I'm an idiot like that. I have not done my research, and I have not done my homework. So do that. Don't get yourself hurt. You know, a lot of time the answers is it's just life. That's just the way it is. It's not
Yeah.
something bad that's interjecting itself into your life. It's just life, and it's hard, and you got to deal with it. Um, we aren't talking about your daily existence. We're talking about things that cannot be explained. You know, um, and it's it's fun, and it's entertaining, and it's enlightening, and our universe is expanding at a phenomenal rate right now to where we can't explain the things that are going on. I want to talk about something here. I'm going to interject this, and you guys can give me your feedback on it. You can tell me what you think about it. You can even, if you were there, contact me because I have yet to find anybody to contact me on this. But back in
And anybody who's talking about their dreams in my comment section, I will get to your questions
yeah,
and your comments right after this.
hold on just one second, please, please. I'm
No, that's fine. Do your thing.
um back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. I was living in Dallas, Texas with my wife, my first wife. I'm not going to tell you how many I've had, but my first wife. And we were down at some friend's house. These people live down in Oak Cliff. And if you're from Dallas, you know where that's at. We were driving home and we were using the back streets, we weren't coming the freeways, and we were going up through the Casa Linda area, a very affluent area of Dallas. It's real pretty, an older area. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we came to an intersection and we stopped at this intersection. And we're sitting there at the red light, and I'm waiting for it to turn green. And I look over, and these people on the other side of the intersection are getting out of their cars, and they're looking up in the sky and pointing. Oh, what the hell are they doing? You know? And I put the car in park, and I get out and I look up, and there is this thing, massive. This thing is huge, just above the tree line. It's darker than the night. It's like a shadow at nighttime, but it's got these very tiny lights that go from one end of it blinking to the other and back and forth and back and forth. And it's moving really slow through the sky. And everyone in this intersection is now out of their cars looking at this thing flying through the air. And to the life of me, to this day, guys, I don't know what this was. It is a UFO, an unidentified flying object. It is not a Zeppelin. It is not the Goodyear blimp. Nothing I've ever seen looked like that before. Okay. It looked like a big cigar. I don't know how else to explain it, with lights just across the bottom going back and forth and back and forth, hovering just above the tree line. So it's not that high up. It's very low to the ground, but moving very slowly. And this thing scared my wife to the point where she was literally in the floorboard in the passenger seat of the car, and she would not come out. She wanted to go. She just wanted to get out of there. She didn't know what it was. She just wanted to get out of there. But we watched this thing just silently, no noise at all, just drift by and go out of sight. So if there's anybody out there who has seen that Casa Linda sighting in Dallas, Texas, please contact me so I know I'm not crazy. I did not drink any alcohol that night. I did not do any drugs at all. I was totally sober when I saw this. And it was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen. Almost the most fantastic thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it was really crazy. And being the uptick and the surge in UFO sightings right now, um, please feel free to contact us and talk to us. I would love to hear some of your stuff, but I would especially like to hear if anybody else was there that night in that intersection. There had to have been at least 50 to 75 people standing there in that intersection that night. It was full. So, yeah, contact me, please. I would love to hear from you. Haters gonna hate says aliens, possibly. I don't know. You've seen things like that. Excuse me. That's the thing. I saw a a show a long time ago about a UFO researcher, and they asked him why people did not see more UFOs at that time. And he said, because, well, everybody's looking down. They're looking at their phones. They're looking in the wrong direction. They need to look up to see a UFO. And I think more and more people now that now that the government has said, yes, these things are real. We don't know what they are, but they are real. Um, they're looking up and they're starting to see things. They're starting to see things they can't explain. So yeah, it's turning into a real fun time right now for sure. Welcome back.
Absolutely. Welcome back. I lost something. I'll be right back.
Okay,
Sorry. Right back.
no worries. People got to do people things. Hey, Cammy. Good morning. Haters got to hate. Thank you for the question. I appreciate that, man. And the fact that you've seen stuff like that is really awesome. If you want to share that experience and we'll talk about it on our podcast, you can get a hold of us at transcendingveils@gmail.com. You can send us a Gmail. You can send us pictures if you want. That's cool. We'll share them all on the air. Um, or you can find us on Facebook at Transcending Veils Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Transcending Veils. You can find us on Twitter at Transcending Veils. So there's several different ways you can get a hold of us. So please share your experiences with us. We would love to hear from you. Hey Donna, how are you? Come in, say hi. You guys don't be shy. There's a reason why you guys are allowed to talk to us on here. We love the interaction. Okay, you had some questions or comments you wanted to address?
Yes. So, if someone has nightmares for months straight, is that demonic activity? It depends on what it is. I have had a lot of reoccurring dreams like that. I have. Um, I've even had sleep paralysis, which, yeah, sure, you can chalk it up to just just that sleep paralysis. But I have found that there was definitely an attachment to that sleep paralysis, and I'm not crazy. So the next one was, okay. I don't dream. What could be causing that? Like I used to dream and now nothing. Um. Excuse me, madam.
Are you
Um.
taking any drugs or smoking any illicit drugs? That's the next question. Because there was a time in my life when I smoked a large amount of marijuana, and when I did that, I never had dreams. I would sleep and I never had dreams. And since I stopped doing that years ago, now the dreams have cycled back in too. So there can be outside influence.
So you stopped dreaming with marijuana? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's correct. I stopped dreaming completely when I smoked marijuana.
Like doctors don't know. I have researched and researched. Hmm. I'm missing so much. Prescription meds can cause a lack of dreams as well. What's up, AJ? So when it comes, and I mean maybe it's different for everybody else, but or for different people, but uh, marijuana makes me dream, um, which sucks. I love when I don't get to dream because usually my dreams mean something and it sucks, or I have some spirit coming all up in my face who's like, hey, um, I have a message, and I'm like, I don't know where to put this. So it's like, I prefer not to dream because there's that fine line between what is actually a dream and what is not. Um, so, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you. I've heard of people who could astral project or lucid dream, and because it was just too intense, they forced themselves to kind of regress, and not and forget about it, because that can be really intense for people. One time I I saw Elvis uh, after being awake for 3 days. He was nice, but smelled bad.
It's called sleep deprivation.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe that's my gift all along. Because I never sleep as it is, so maybe it's just sleep deprivation.
Well, I mean, you deny the body of what it needs, and it it will start doing that. It'll start playing tricks with you. You'll start seeing
Hmm.
weird things, and that was the one thing that if you look at you look back at shamanism, you look at back in the Native Americans. Um, that was one of the elements um, that they went through when they were going through their shamanistic rites or their manhood rites is sleep deprivation, and they would subject you to the elements. You were unprotected. They stripped you of everything and put you out in the middle of nowhere. And if you survived, then you came back a warrior. Um, and that was when they would manifest their visions and their dreams is because of the lack of sleep and the influence of sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, the influence of peyotes, especially if you're in the southwestern Indians, into the system during this time, um, then they would start manifesting the gods and to guide them, the spirit guides, in through the next world to become the shaman or to become the man. So um, it the lack of sleep uh, will have an effect on you psychologically. Absolutely, the military has studied that for years.
Yep.
They use that as one of their weaponry tactics. Is they'll do everything to keep the enemy from sleeping. Um, to sleep deprived, make mistakes, and they see things that aren't there, and that makes them vulnerable. So yeah, get your rest. Come on, be human. You don't have to stay up for three to
Uh,
four
no
days at a
thanks.
time.
Yeah, I know. No thanks. I hate even camping. I'd never make it as a shaman. Nope, me neither.
I'm just the
Me
opposite. I
neither.
do that all the time. I do primitive camping, so I go out in the middle of nowhere with nothing and survive. So
I'm sure. So okay, so I'm sure that I could find a way to survive, but bugs, but bugs. It's funny because my husband makes fun of me because he's like, oh, and I'm pretty sure I told you this story. He was like, oh, you like demonic activity is going on in the house, and you're just like, nah. And then he was like, if there's one flying bug, you're off running and screaming in the other direction. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's you come back and it's like I went uh, a week before last to a primitive camp, and if you look now, I've got like all these cuts and scars and scrapes and shit all over me. That's part of it, That's you deal with it.
yeah. See, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with getting cut up and bruised and you know,
Well, that's your nature.
yeah. But bugs, mm-mm. Nope.
Okay. Anybody? Oh, what just happened? Okay, that's not me. Anybody have any other questions or comments they would like us to address? No, I do not hypnotize people.
I felt like I
All
was
right.
dreaming.
Can a demon? How do you get a demon to detach someone? We've gone over that. I got someone's creative juices flowing. Okay. Um, I don't know what that means, but I'm not even going to go down that road. Somebody's seen things. Hi, Jen. How are you?
I
Um,
felt like I was
you got any questions on your side? I'm kind of stopped over here.
Victoria. Yeah, Victoria says, I felt like I was dreaming. I have seen hounds watching me at the end of my bed, and I've been diagnosed with hallucinations. And then someone else said, hellhounds are real. Yes, hellhounds are real. They are, in fact, real. Believe it or not. They are just protecting sacred ground. They're only called hellhounds for. They're only called hellhounds because people think that they are, the devil's pets. But in reality, they guard sacred areas. Usually cemeteries, stuff like that. Burial grounds, like Native American burial grounds, any sort of um, where the veil is the thinnest, where like if you walk into a cemetery, clearly there is a lot of energy there. Um, but they did not originate from hell. They are just another form of entity that is out there in this world. And believe it or not, you can leave offerings of pomegranate or they like pomegranate and they like meat and berries and raspberries, blackberries, stuff like that. You can leave stuff like that that they will take as an offering, passage, stuff like that. Also, anybody who enters the cemetery, please pay your toll. Please pay your toll because you are entering into a cemetery. You are entering into a sacred area of the dead. Pay your toll. Put some coins at the entrance of the cemetery.
This along those same lines, but a little bit different. Please study your local laws before you do that. Okay. If
Yeah.
you go in, I'm in Ohio. If you go into a cemetery at night in Ohio, you will get arrested because it's illegal. You cannot go into a cemetery at night in Ohio. Okay. So study your local laws on what's going on before you go venturing off into cemeteries at night and doing things in graveyards because different states have different laws, and we don't want anybody to get in trouble over this stuff. Okay, pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah. Our bigger cemeteries, we have a cemetery where H.P. Lovecraft is buried, and you cannot go in there after, I think, 7 p.m. So our bigger cemeteries, it's like that. Um, Technically, you're not supposed to trespass on any of them at night, but you know, for the thrill seekers.
And the thing is, in the Northeast, of the United States, it's really fascinating to go into a lot of these older graveyards up here. And just read the headstones. It's amazing, how long they've been there and how these people have died. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like going through the early days of this country. It was just, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yep. When it comes down to dreams or anything like that, I mean, feel free to message me as far as any questions, like if you want me to go in depth more about dreams. Um, I have a lot of experience with them, and it's not always fun. But maybe I can help you decipher, if nothing else.
Yeah, and and also I've got a friend of mine who does study dream interpretation. I need to put you in contact with her, Audra. Just so you guys can chat back and forth. But I've known her for many years, and she's real involved with that. So if you're wanting to know the meaning of any dreams that you have, yeah, feel free to contact Audra. You can contact me,
Okay.
but I'm just going to forward your stuff onto her, not Audra, but the other friend of mine, um, and find out there because I am not an expert. I have dreams that I would love to get interpreted, and the one that I had that is most prevalent I've talked about before, um, my French Revolution dream, uh, and you know I've I'm still discussing that with people and getting their ideas on the interpretation of that and where it came from. Past life is the only thing I can come up with, and what they can come up with. It was just a past life experience where I broke through the veil and entered a life that I had long before this one.
Oh,
Oh,
what was that little thing?
how
Oh, thank
nice.
you. That was cute. Are you a wizard?
Me? Am I a wizard? No, no, I'm not.
Someone, yeah, someone's asking if you're a wizard. Someone asked if I know witchcraft.
I am someone out here who's questioning everything just like you are. I'm just making it public. She's the one. She's a
I'm the one
wizard
who's into
dress.
witchcraft.
Wizard dress, if there is such a thing.
Wizard dress. I like that. Don't get mad at me. Okay, don't get mad at me. But my youngest, you had posted the video about promoting our live tonight. And I was watching it, and my youngest comes over my shoulder, and she goes, and she's really into Harry Potter right now. So she comes over my shoulder, and she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "That's Dumbledore."
I consider that a compliment. What do you mean?
That's Dumbledore. It was just funny. It was cute. I have a thing for witches. I don't know if witches have a thing for you. If they do, that's a bad thing. You might have to know who they
I
are.
yeah. I've my wife used to practice. She doesn't any longer, but we still have all the books of uh, witchcraft and incantations, etc., around the house because we don't throw books away. We hold on. We've got, I think, 14 bookcases in the house, and every windowsill in this house has a book or two in it. So
And that's how it should be.
haters gonna hate. Alien? What about Alien? You've seen things like that? Yeah, I think everybody has seen something that they can't explain. That's why they call them unidentified flying objects. We don't know what they are. Um, we don't know what they are. There may be someone else around here that does know what they are, but I personally do not know. I mean, if you stop and think about it, you look at the hey Tom, if you look at the stealth fighters that we have now, if you had seen those back in the mid 70s, would you have believed that was an aircraft from our, you know, Air Force? No, you would have thought it was a UFO, something from another planet, because it does not look like a conventional aircraft. So you have to look at the definition of that word. An unidentified flying object does not mean that it's from another planet or a solar system or another time. It just means that we don't know what it is. We can't put our finger on it. So, keep that in mind when you're talking about UFOs, that it can be very terrestrial, but it can also be very extraterrestrial, and like I said earlier in this broadcast, the government has admitted that there's stuff out there
Yeah.
that we don't know where they're
Yep.
from or what it is, but it's out there. So
Mm-hmm. Are you single there? When did this become a dating show? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who are they talking to? You?
They might be talking
They
to
got
you.
to be talking to
I don't
you.
know.
You're a lot prettier than.
Who knows? That's you know. I still have. How many people do I have in here right now? I still got a bunch of you in here. So bring forth your question.
Yeah, come on, guys. That's what we're here for. We're here for you. This is your show tonight. It's not our show.
I don't know. I don't know. Not you, Dumbledore. The actual Dumbledore.
There have been people on here that has got. I'm sure there has, Tom, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the paranormal, not the parasexual. Okay, that's a whole nother show.
Oh my goodness. Is there a good book for getting into witchcraft?
Um,
Really?
Eee.
You do all of your research on the internet. Uh, like I tell everybody, look at folklore first and what you're interested in, and then see where that takes you. And then start discovering books that have to do with whatever branch of witchcraft you want to get into. When I see someone I like, I go for it. I mean, you could try.
Hooray for your team.
Woohoo! You're a winner. Paranormal's no such thing. He did. He was 10 steps ahead. Oh, oh my god.
Do what?
What branches are there? Okay. So, the one thing I will say to everybody, if you are looking to get into any sort of witchcraft, research what types of witches are out there. You've got chaos witches, cosmic witches, satanic witches, such as myself. Um, you have green witches, gray witches. Um, you have all of that. We're getting an intrusion. Intrusion.
Oh my God.
Intrusion. Intrusion.
It,
What
it
are you
boils
doing?
it boils down to, guys, do your homework. There's so many things that are generalized out there, with witchcraft and Satanism and beliefs. Do your homework. Find out which path you want to go down. Be careful. Find out which path you want to go down and choose carefully what you're looking for. Okay. Um, because everything you're looking for is out there. It's easy to find, especially in today with the internet, and everything is online. No matter what it is, just tread lightly and be careful of what you're doing and what you're looking for, because it can be maddening sometimes, and it can also be very confusing. Um, but she just went through a list of 8 or 10 different types of witchcraft to research. Witchcraft is very generalized as a word, but then you start getting into the specifics. There's several different branches of witchcraft and several different areas that you can go into. So be very careful. Do your homework. It's just that easy. What are we doing, Audra? Are we traveling through your house right now?
yes, we were traveling. We were traveling.
And I had my podcast muted because I had an intrusion because I commandeered the powder room and someone needed it. So it he knows better, but he decided to barge in anyway. Go figure. Oh, he let all the cats in. He let all the cats in. Wonderful.
Yeah, I've barricaded myself in my office, so there's no dogs, no kids.
Woo.
I'm sure when I leave here, everyone will be in. The thing is, like I said before, I'm a vampire. Okay, I work nights and sleep days. Well, I'm working overtime right now, so I work Friday night into Saturday morning, and then I'll go back to work Sunday night. At 10 o'clock. So there's very little downtime for me. So you can't switch back and forth on your sleeping habits at this point. because it'll fuck you all up. So I've got to, I'll be staying up all night, and I'm sure I'll be watching horror movies here in a little while. But it's it's one of those things. My wife, my son, my dogs are all starting to bed down, or already in bed by now. So I'm back here in the office, doing my little office thing. So, well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Tom says he wanted to
Wait,
say hi and have a blessed night for everybody.
Thank you, Tom. Which witches are the evil witches? Right here. I'm the evil witch. Actually, none of us really are evil. Uh,
I've got three ex-wives that fall into that category.
there you go. None of us are actually evil. Some of us just walk the left-handed path, which is what I walk. Um, you know, the darker side of the craft. There's a lot that I can't say on here because, you know, TikTok and all that
That's
stuff.
why
Um,
that's why we have the email and the other platforms. So
but I do, spirit work, demonic entities. Um, I work with all of my rituals, my magic, anything that I do has to do with schmlud magic. I want to say it because you know. And I also do sexy time magic.
I
It's actually,
actually,
believe it or not, super super dangerous. I have a male stone. It's a male appendage that I use. That sounds terrible, but I use in rituals. With a little thing, and it's actually the stone that it's made of is actually made with mercury, so it's actually really dangerous to even handle. So that's fun. I honestly hopped in without knowing what's happening, and you just said vampire. Vampire, and I'm intrigued.
you're intrigued. The Legend of Vampires actually is a American legend. It has been applied to um, other nationalities in other countries, but Bram Stoker, as Audrey, contrived his stories from an American woman, slave owner, who was not very nice. She was an evil lady. And we talked about this, I believe, one of our other podcasts not too long ago. And
Yes, from Rhode
yes,
Island,
right,
actually.
20 miles from you, I bet. Um,
Yep.
and that's actually where the Legend of the Vampire started, and it kind of just progressed from there. Um, the modern day vampire, let me put it that way. Okay, vampires have been in folklore for 1,000 years or more. You can find they dug up um, graves of people from 1,000 years ago that have like bricks stuffed in their mouths and things like that,
Yep.
snakes driven through them, because of the vampire legends. But Bram Stoker, who is probably responsible for the modern day version of the vampire, got his from an American folklore, which is
yeah,
really fascinating. It's yeah, so yeah, we got vampires here. I'm a vampire. I live at night.
Vampirism is actually it is a new age religion in a way. The only reason why I say new age is because vampirism really took popularity after Bram Stoker's books, and then you found these religions being found on them, and then you also have people. You have terms like a psychic vampire, so, or an energy vampire who literally they don't feed on blood, they feed on your emotions. Your, you know, um, is she from New Orleans? Is who from New Orleans?
You're the only she in here.
Well, I don't know if they were talking about some like one of the vampires. Vampires are the original they them. Oh my god. History Channel told me 'twas based on an illness, but I don't remember the name. Tuberculosis. Or oh my god. Consumption. Mhm. Yep. The vampire. So the vampire that Bram Stoker modeled his vampires off of, one is in my state, and her name was Mercy Brown. So, and I'm in Rhode Island. Ow! And I'm getting stuck on everything. Iron deficiency. Well, so people back in the day be when they would come down with consumption and stuff like that, it was an unknown disease. So, people coughing up blood and all of that stuff, and then the people who didn't get sick, they lumped in with vampires. We did a podcast, I think it was podcast episode 3, our third episode,
Right.
that
that
we
we discussed consumption and, um, you know, because we were speaking on urban legends, and we had urban legends in our state. In each state, we were talking about. Oh, I remember that episode where you guys talked about Mercy Brown. That was really interesting. Yeah, yeah, she's fun. Have you ever been to the Salem trials? I go to Salem all the time. All the time. I was actually just in.
We really ought to. We need to plan a trip, you and I, um,
yeah,
because I've never been to these places, and I've always wanted to go. And I think it'd be fun, if it was just, either you and I or the two families or whatever, go and visit these places and check them out because there's so much. If, up here in the Northeast, the climate is different as far as witchcraft and the paranormal goes. Um,
yeah.
down south where I'm from, it's a totally different thing. But oh, there's our gremlin right there. We just lost Audra. She just disappeared. There she is. She's back again.
I'm back.
But we really that might be something we do in the near future is plan a little trip like that and go discover these places for sure.
That would be incredible. And I mean, even right down to recording everything.
We dropped out at, but our gremlin got us again.
Oh
Our gremlin
no!
got us again, folks. It completely cut us off. So we're back. I apologize for that. I don't know what was missed, what was dropped out, but something in there. I just looked up and I noticed that we were no longer recording. So here we are. Now, this would be a perfect time. We have a gremlin, and
Mm-hmm.
or a entity or something that keeps causing us problems. Um, and we don't know why. We don't know how to get rid of it. We don't know what its name is. So let's give it a name. What do you think, Audra?
We need to name our demon Gremlin. I like Gremlin. We're gonna go with Gremlin. Let's name our Gremlin. What do you guys? What suggestions do you guys have for naming our little Gremlin who likes to mess with our show?
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
mean, let's have a contest, okay? Let's start right now. We're going to take any entries that you give us right now over this podcast and any other entries that you want to turn into us over our Gmail account or our Twitter or our Instagram or our Facebook account. And we need to set a date for the drawing. What do you think? How long you want to draw this out?
Hmm.
Shall we draw it out
Shall
until next Friday and then announce the winner on Saturday?
That'll work. We'll
That'll
do
work.
it. We'll give it a week. We'll give it 1 week. We want your entries to name this gremlin that keeps killing our podcast and keeps driving us crazy and causing
absolutely.
us problems. We have to have a name for this thing. So give us your names, give us your entries. Audrey and I will get together, we'll judge, and we will give you we need a prize. What do we got for a prize? What do you think?
So, like we had talked about in the beginning of our podcast, I am actually trying to find new homes for some of my haunted dolls. Don't worry, I won't give you any negative entities. So, how about this? The winner of the Name the Gremlin contest will receive a spirited doll, positive entity, and they will receive a thank you note from the both of us. And we will also, feature you on the Instagram and the Facebook and the Twitter. And I think that's pretty good.
Wow, that's really something. That's a lot
Hmm.
more. Okay, you guys, you will be able to get, and we are going to promote this because I'm a fool about stuff like that. We are going to promote this. You will be getting a possessed doll that is possessed by a good entity, not a bad one, but a good one to bring into your house, and you will get a thank you note from Otter and I personally. Um, and we got to name this demon that keeps screwing with us. We made it through almost this entire show without being messed with, and then I look up on the screen and we're cut off. We're not recording at all, and I don't know how long. And I've been trying to monitor it so close. So hopefully it's just a few minutes we've been off the air, but that's what we deal with constantly. We have dealt
Yep.
with the noises, we've dealt with the bugs, we've dealt with all kinds of stuff that you can't even imagine to put this broadcast out there for you guys, and it just keeps crashing on us for whatever reason. So here it happened again. So we've and again and again. So now we need a name the gremlin contest from you guys. Let's start getting your entries in.
Don't
I
do
guess the
not
easiest,
send the entries here on the live because once we end our live, we'll end up losing it, and I don't have a pen or pad near me. So what you can do is go to the Instagram or the Facebook, DM us, and send us your suggestions for a name. Or
yes,
you
or you
can
can
you
go
can
to
message us
You
Gmail.
can message us personally.
Yeah, you can go to Gmail at transcending veils at gmail.com and
Hmm.
send us a message there. We will definitely collect them. And you got 1 week. So starting tomorrow, I will broadcast this everywhere. But
Yep.
do you have any other questions on your end down there?
what is the
I'm
What?
gremlin? A mascot? Our gremlin may become our mascot, but our gremlin is we have been working on this production of this show and these episodes for months, and we have consistently run into a little gremlin who has just completely messed with us tech wise, and weird things have happened. I mean, things falling, things completely shutting down, cats acting weird, just a whole bunch of crazy, crazy stuff. So we have our little gremlin who really tries really hard to stop. Its name is Lydia. It is not. It's not Lydia. Um, we have this little gremlin that just really tries to keep us from speaking. And another thing, which we had talked about, and maybe after we name the gremlin, we'll see where we go with it. But we have talked about someone putting a face to our gremlin as well after we name him. After we name him, maybe we can have, you guys send in your fan art for our gremlin.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let's figure out what this little thing looks like. But it's trying to keep us from broadcasting our show, and it is very consistent, and it shows up. We almost made it through this entire show without it rearing its ugly head, and then I'd look up and we're dead. We're not recording anything for no reason at all, and I don't know why, and I don't know, quite honestly, what else has happened during the course of this. I've tried to monitor it as best I can, but there may be something that has popped up in this also. So, please be advised. This is kind of sticky. I'm trying to monitor the TikTok uh, broadcast. I'm trying to monitor up here our internet broadcast, and I'm trying to also monitor private messages over here on another phone. So I've got a lot of different things I'm dealing with right now, and I'm stupid. I have a hard time handling all this stuff. But uh, let's get a name, and let's name this little entity, and then maybe we can get a face put to it, and have another
Mm-hmm.
contest or something here. So, any other questions you got on your end, Audra?
I don't. Not anymore. If you guys have any more questions, throw them our way.
Last minute, anything you want to ask? This is it. Had a lot of people hanging in here for a long time. We appreciate you. Thank you for stopping in. Hey, Grant. Aw.
Guys.
Tom says, I seen
Oh,
We're
you
so
and
glad
want
you
to say.
thank you.
jumped.
It was a
Tom says, I
pleasure.
saw you and want to say hi and have a blessed night. Cool.
You guys are great. Good
That's
to see
awesome.
you.
That
Awesome.
is awesome. Okay,
Thank you.
Audra, tell these people where they can find us one more time.
Okay, guys, you can find us. You can find me under Audra Moon. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Audra Moon anymore. I keep forgetting. Uh, let's make it easy. You can go to either one of our bios on TikTok and click Instagram and come and find us, or you can get in touch and send us a message, or you can get in touch with us at Transcending Veils Podcast on Twitter. You can get in touch with us at Transcending Veils on Facebook, and you can also email us at Transcending Veils Podcast. Oh no, just Transcending Veils. See, I'm a mess tonight. It's the heat. It's the humidity. Transcendingveils at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love suggestions for future episodes. We also would love to see what you come up with for this gremlin's name. But any questions that you have, feel free, contact us. We are always here.
Yeah, and also, as somebody alluded to earlier, you have video of this, you have video of that. Absolutely, send it to us. We would love to see that, um, and
Yes.
and we would love to make that part of our future podcasts. We have a lot of things. Audrey and I have been working and planning in the planned for the future. Hopefully, this is going to become something that we can go live with, and you guys can actually see us like you're seeing here on every podcast we make. Um, but we appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate you stopping by and listening, and we hope you enjoyed this. We plan on doing it again, um, but that's all I've got. Audra, thank you so much. You're beautiful as always, and I appreciate your
Thank
input
you.
and your knowledge. And guys, as always, keep it spooky.
Bye, guys.